Welcome to this DDi CADcast. My name is Bill Mitchell, and today we will cover What's New SolidWorks 2014, Assemblies. This is part 2 of 2 of CADcast series. The first thing we're going to cover is some changes to the way that configurations get handled within Assemblies. The Assembly Expert tool now detects conflicts between subassembly components and other components with in-context relationships and multiple configurations within Assembly. This helps avoid those in-context relationships incorrectly propagating to the individual components, even though they may be a different configuration than other instances within the assembly. The next new feature are some changes to the way that patterns behave within assemblies. We now have curve and sketch-driven patterns, as well as a change to feature-driven pattern. The feature-driven pattern has been renamed to pattern-driven component pattern due to enhanced functionality. We can now use components and features to drive pattern features within the same assembly or within a subassembly. This also supports assembly-level patterns such as linear pattern, circular pattern, or whole wizard series. So let's switch over to SolidWorks and take a look. So within this example assembly, you can see I have a component with some holes in it, and if I examine the feature tree, I have a linear pattern. This linear pattern exists within a component that is also within a subassembly. However, the fastener that is mated into that hole resides in a top-level assembly. SolidWorks 2014 can now do a pattern-driven pattern if I select my component, then I select my driving feature. The instance count from the component level can reach up into the top-level assembly to create these patterns. Next, we'll look at the curve-driven pattern and some other changes to the way that the patterns work. So in this particular assembly, I have a chain, and I can go ahead and create curve-driven pattern. Select my sketch, and then increase my instance count. Tell that it's tangent to curve and that it's equally spaced. So notice that there are also some new settings for reference point. I can use a bounding box center of the component origin, or I can select a point. Whenever I create a pattern feature within an assembly, and then I go in and select the actual feature, select the pattern feature, you can see that the seed component is now highlighted in a specific color. Some additional enhancements in SolidWorks 2014 are user interface enhancements for configurations. We can now select components by size, we can select configurations from the context toolbar, and we can toggle between flexible and rigid states of subassemblies without having to dig through excessive menus. Let's go ahead and take a look at this new functionality. Coming back to an example assembly, come up to my select tool option, I have a new option to select by size. What this allows me to do is select components as a percentage of the assembly size. Once the components are selected, I can suppress, isolate, or so on. Another new enhancement within the user interface for configurations is the ability to select assemblies. If I select the subassembly, I can tell it whether it's an extended, free, or retracted position. These are essentially just configuration names. I can also select whether the item or the subassembly member is rigid or flexible. Enhancements in the way that flexible subassemblies behave has also been made in SolidWorks 2014, to where the behavior of two separate instances behave genuinely independently of each other. Other new enhancements include the addition of adding 1 or S for suppressed, or 0 or U for unsuppressed in design tables. Let's take a look at an assembly with a design table embedded in it. Rather than having to type suppressed or unsuppressed, you can see now from the tooltip that I can either type the full word or use S, U, or 1 or 0 in order to get the same effect. And then the final enhancement is updating the assembly graphics option. If you have a large assembly and you save, there is a chance that the assembly graphics may not necessarily be up to date. This will create an out-of-date watermark on the model if it's viewed within something like Enterprise PDM. So by going into my system options, I can also go directly into System Options, Assemblies. I have a check mark that says Update Model Graphics when saving the files. This ensures that the model graphics are up to date and that any preview would be up to date as well. For more CADcast topics, check out our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/DDi CAD or our tech blog at www.ddicad.com/tech center. Thanks for watching.